Good morning. It is Thursday, September the 1st. Welcome to a new month. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Well, today, as I said, September 1st, Barbados enters what is normally the busiest part of the Atlantic hurricane season, the busiest period of the Atlantic hurricane season. Things have been quiet so far, but the Department of Emergency Management has been busy engaging stakeholders and district emergency organizations in preparation for any potential impact. Last year's brush with Hurricane Elsa has highlighted some weaknesses in Barbados' hurricane preparedness efforts, which officials believe they have addressed this time around. Consultant with the DEM, Selwyn Brooks, joins me live now on the Morning Report to discuss how emergency officials have addressed some of the deficiencies in the planning process. Good to have you on the program, Selwyn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Talk to us about what you and your teams have been doing, especially at the DOC level, to get ready for this hurricane season, and talk about the lessons learned from responding in the aftermath of Elsa and seeing some of the deficiencies there that you've been able to deal with and manage this time.
Well, since last year, we have seen a significant growth in the numbers of our district emergency organization members across the country. We have approximately 900 persons in the field, and with the level of increased and sustained training efforts, we do believe that the DOs are better equipped at this point in time than they were last year. Recently, we were able to also benefit from a donation from the Barbados Light and Power with a number of radios, which would have allowed us to fill some of the gaps in our communication capacity across the country. And with the increased level of training, that has resulted in several, especially younger persons, coming on board, because I think they now appreciate the significant role at the community level that persons can offer the Department of Emergency Management higher levels of community resilience as we go into this year's hurricane season.
What are some of the key areas that you and your team, especially with the DEOs, paid special attention to? You mentioned the communication, which the BLPC has come on board to help address that situation. We know about the cut and the real blackout in communication last time around. That has been sorted somewhat now with the VHF radios. What other areas that were highlighted that you've been able to say, well, look, we didn't do so well, and Elsa showed us that this needs to be shored up, and you think you're now on the right path?
Shane, the training and persons being able to do what is required is very important. So therefore, since we have increased our training efforts, and persons are much more sensitive to what is within their various communities, because if you are going to effectively put a response to especially the hurricane hazard, knowing what is in your community, knowing how you can access resources in your community can be of significant value should the need arise. So with the increased training, district emergency organization members across the country have been able to hone their skills and therefore add that value in terms of our response mechanism if needed. Also, with the increased training, we have seen what has come to the fore is a cadre of younger people, because the district emergency organizations are drawn from the various communities in which they take their name. And by increased participation and sensitization in the various communities, it means that we are more likely to offer a better response should something comes our way. We have also moved away from only looking at the hurricane hazard, because an emergency or a disaster can happen at any time during the year. So therefore, an all-hazard approach is now being strengthened by the training and also by the facilitation of a better working relationship with our stakeholders, being agencies like the Fire Service, the Barbados Defense Force, the Barbados Police Force, the Ministry of education, technological and vocational training, the disabilities unit, just to mention a few.
The training, as you said, very, very critical for your team, and we really hope that they really hone those skills for what is possibly to come. As we say, September is normally the busy time. Do you think Barbados is now ready, as you have been able to assess a number of the elements of our hurricane preparedness strategy?
I think we are as ready as we can be. No one will ever know what is the level of impact that will come our way. So if we do not plan, that means we plan to fail. So therefore, by alerting and keeping on the track at which we are going in terms of our trajectory to increase community resilience, I think we can offer a better level of response than we did in the past. Um, Disaster management and the hurricanes, especially at this point in time as we go into the peak of this year's hurricane season, let us hope that we will continue to be spared. But that is not something that we can rest upon our laurels and just do nothing. So I think that based on what is likely to come our way, let us hope that the training would have been able to equip those individuals to offer a better level of response. And we look forward to further engagement of our communities across the country. We just completed a national simulation exercise, which would have allowed the DOs across the entire country to hone their skills in a number of disciplines. And even as we speak, Shane, um, units were circulated with another 19 areas of which we are now looking at planning going forward. So with continuous planning, continuous engagement, and continuous support from the general public, I think we will be able to garnish and sensitize our respective communities to offer a better response should something happen, something comes our way.
And quickly, just speaking about the general public, any advice for Barbadians as we go into September?
Yes, the hurricane hazard usually associated with high winds and high seas, and I want to urge the wider community. It is not too late, but nevertheless, look around your homes, look and see what has the potential to cause harm if it is caught up in the wind. Look in terms of your emergency supplies. Also, consider what you need to do in terms of alternative shelters if your home is unlikely to stand the ravages of a hurricane, especially a Hurricane 2 up. Also, look in terms of your supplies, look in terms of your environment, and see how we can make sure that we offer better best practices as we approach the peak of this year's hurricane season.
Selwyn, I really want to thank you for your time this morning, just giving us an update and a snapshot of what is being done to prepare Barbados at the District Emergency Organization level and the DEM as well, to see what we can do to manage the threat of hurricanes when they knock at our doorsteps. We can only be as prepared as possible. Again, thank you. And you be safe until the next time we chat.
Thank you very much. And be safe, Barbados.
Selwyn Brooks there speaking to me, a consultant with the DEM, talking about the preparations for the business end, the busier end of the Atlantic hurricane season, which is normally the month of September. Let's take a break here. Coming up on the morning report, we have updates on the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine. Some news just in, and we'll try to get more details on this story as they become available. One man is dead, yet another shooting, and his female companion said to be in serious condition after an incident which occurred now last night at Keyser Hill Drive, Endeavour Enterprise Christ Church. Police are also looking for a gold Toyota Axio with the registration plates SA 3501, in which the assailants are said to have fled the scene. Lawmen responded to the shooting after receiving a call around 9:30 last night and discovered the man's body in a bushy area near a residential property after a brief search. The woman was also found and she was transported to a medical facility for treatment. As I said, we'll have more details on this story as they come to hand. The criteria for discharge from COVID-19 isolation is changing from today. The Ministry of Health and Wellness states an individual will now be cleared for discharge on day 7 from a positive COVID-19 PCR test result. Originally, it was 10 days. In a statement, the ministry notes the individual must be asymptomatic or show improving symptoms for 3 days prior to discharge. If the individual remains symptomatic, isolation must be extended for a full 10-day period with no further testing required to exit isolation. Meanwhile, there were 147 new COVID-19 cases recorded from 614 tests conducted on Tuesday by laboratories across the island. The cases consisted of 19 people under the age of 18 and 128 who were 18 years and older. The number of people in isolation facilities was 83, while 1,379 people were in home isolation. We are also hearing that an 83-year-old man died as a result of the virus on Tuesday. As at August 30th, there were 542 COVID-19 related deaths. United Nations inspectors are due to visit the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant today as they seek to safeguard the site amid artillery shelling that has prompted global fears of disaster. The International Atomic Energy Agency mission arrived in the southern city yesterday.
It took around 8 hours for these International Atomic Energy Agency team members to reach the Zaporizhzhia region. Their plan is to evaluate conditions inside Europe's largest nuclear power plant for a few days.
Well, we are a team of very experienced people. I'm bringing here the best and the brightest in safeguards, in safety, in security, and we will have a pretty good idea of what's going on.
How long? Shelling in the past weeks has raised concerns over the conditions inside the plant. It's a difficult task, as they will have to evaluate the potential damage, the conditions of the personnel, and whether safety systems are in place.
This wind will go.
Vadim Chumak is an expert on nuclear disasters. He says that even though the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is nearly indestructible, there are many things that could go wrong.
It can be destroyed probably only if it is shot at a very special purpose with very powerful munition. So it cannot be damaged simply because of some occasional bomb or rocket fall nearby.
The visit is taking place as Ukraine is staging a counter-offensive in the south, trying to begin what President Volodymyr Zelensky says is the liberation of territories occupied by Russia.
Ukraine says its forces have destroyed several ammunition depots and all major bridges that would allow Russian troops to cross the Dnieper River. Everyone here knows that this is going to be a long fight, but almost everyone is convinced that Ukraine will prevail.
Armament, not only armor, but
experts like Mykola Bielieskov say the offensive is a major challenge, and Ukraine has bravery to make up for the weapons it lacks.
Offensive is quite a challenging scene. It's quite difficult, complicated scene. You need to orchestrate the application of a lot of manpower, a lot of equipment. So you need to do it, to have effect, you need to breach the tactical depths of defense, you need to move follow-on echelon, you need to interdict the possible Russian counter moves. Still, as I said, chances are quite high.
Ukraine's government continues to demand more weapons from its Western allies to push its offensive. Soldiers on the front lines are fighting to defend their country and believe the time has come to regain the territory they have lost.
It's 6:15 on a beautiful Thursday morning, Thursday, September the 1st. Let's go over to Pearson now to hear how he will start the month with you right here on Morning Barbados. Pearson, the start of the month, in the middle of the week, but we will keep things going.
Absolutely so, and it's just another month in my book, indeed, and certainly today, Thursday.
The best month. The best month.
That is debatable, but that's all right. That's a debate perhaps for another time. It seems as if lots of fun was had by all at Edu Fun summer camp. What kind of fun did they have? And certainly when the organizer joins us this morning, she will tell us just what they've been up to as they encourage the children to use their voice to initiate change. Also today, we'll be sharing with you Penny Explores Barbados. And the author of the book will join us. Perhaps that mirrors her lifestyle and her life change as well, so we'll talk to her about that. And we'll meet Barbados' first female gymnast. She created history. She'll join us this morning to tell her story and her journey thus far. Just a little bit of what you can expect when you join me at 6:30 for Morning Barbados. Back to you, September born.
Thank you so much, Pearson. I'll see you in about 14 minutes' time. We'll take a break here. We got more news coming your way. Over 1,000 delegates and officials have arrived here in Barbados ahead of today's first Afro-Caribbean Investment Forum at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre. They were officially welcomed at the Grantley Adams International Airport. Trevor Thorpe was there and files this report.
The conference has been described as historic and a game changer, bringing people from across Africa and CARICOM together to do business. Minister of State in Foreign Trade and Business, Sandra Husbands, says there will be investment opportunities in CARICOM for African investors to consider and similar openings for Caribbean investors to do business in Africa.
What this is doing is seeking to bring from across Africa together with CARIFORUM and CARICOM countries people who are interested in doing business together. There are going to be investment opportunities here in CARICOM that African entrepreneurs and investors can consider. There are going to be opportunities in Africa where CARICOM investors can relocate their production because perhaps producing it here in bulk and shipping it may not be as competitive as actually locating some production there.
The minister has called for more community engagements and wants schools to be included.
That means that we look at school exchanges. We start looking at using technology to bring communities to talk with each other and to engage with each other culturally. Because unless you do the engagement on the ground, all the planning by policymakers and by government officials will not translate into active business, because it is people who have to know, trust each other and be exposed to each other's culture and goods. This is what will make the difference.
Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Jens Strenhart, says Barbados and the African continent share cultural ties, and the forum will be exploring them.
We're looking to strengthen the ties with the African countries to drive tourism. I mean, we welcome tourists from the UK, from Canada, from the US, from Europe, our Caribbean neighbors and Latin America. And I think there's a huge opportunities to also drive visitation from Africa. And I think what makes this so unique and powerful is the cultural connections and the heritage that binds Barbados and Africa.
Over 135 delegates are attending the Afri-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum 2022, which opens tomorrow at the Lloyd Erskine Sandifer Centre and ends on Saturday. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Barbadians are being told they will have a say in choosing next year's Grand Kadooment route. The announcement was made at a post-crop over media conference. Anne-Marie Bailey has the details.
Barbadians now have the opportunity to shape Crop Over 2023 through a survey available to the public. This was revealed earlier today by Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Senator Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, during a post-crop over press conference. The survey link, which will be publicized via the media, is live and ready to be accessed.
We will be releasing a survey to the public that will ask the public to input on the new route for Crop Over for 2023. That survey will target three audiences. One, the actual masqueraders who would have paraded on the day. It will target as well vendors and as well Barbadians who would participate, so that Barbadians, masqueraders, vendors can have a say in terms of that new route.
Minister Knight notes the festival is more than the big events.
The Crop Over Festival is a myriad of different events. Most of us focus on Kadooment, and the big events where multiple and thousands of people converge. But it's the National Cultural Foundation. It's not the National Carnival Foundation. It's not the National Entertainment Foundation. And so that the plethora of events and stakeholders that are involved in the festival is large. It's a national festival. And in that context, we want to be sure that for 2023, we have a festival that is, again, as inclusive in terms of its design as we can make it. We are cognizant that we will continue to work with all of the stakeholders, like I said, the band leaders, etc., that we've walked with through 2022, and we'll continue to talk to them through 2023.
It was also revealed that a study assessing the economic impact of the festival will be completed by October this year. Anne-Marie Bailey, CBC News.
Rescue and relief operations are underway across Pakistan as millions of people, particularly in the country's southern and northwest regions, remained trapped by the worst floods in the South Asian country's history.
This is the face of hunger in Sindh. To describe what is happening here as desperation trivializes the extent of the suffering. We spoke to Farzana as she was headed into the fray. She says she had no choice.
Our houses have fallen down. We don't have tents. We can't shade our children from the sun. Our houses have been submerged. I swear to God, there is nothing left. All our belongings have been washed away. We're poor, our children are sick. They are just sitting there.
Senior Army officers leading this relief operation tell us their orders are use a light touch, help everyone. But making sure the weakest in the crowd, women, children, the sick and elderly, don't get pushed to the back of the line, often requires force.
The army's arrived at this village with much-needed humanitarian supplies, food mostly, and there's been a scramble at the supply truck because people here know that there is not enough for everyone. But they are still the lucky ones. Here across the way, where the road has been completely washed away, are people cut off from other villages, and they are just hoping that someone is able to swim some supplies over to them.
Who is the most deserving? Who should go first? Seems to be an impossible decision.
There is no reason to worry. God willing, everyone will get something, okay? But calmly, wait your turn, and everyone will get help.
Reassurances bring peace, but only briefly. As the trucks begin to empty, panic returns, and people jump the queue once again. Flood survivors say, not to do so is to choose death.
If we don't get food, we'll just eat dirt and die. What else can we do?
I don't have any bread. I don't have any water. All the children are starving.
Bringing order to the chaos caused by floods is an unenviable task, and one that has only just begun.
Sporting news now. Barbados Royals lost a thrilling opening Women's Heroes CPL match last evening by 1 run and defeated by the rivals Trinbago Knight Riders at Warner Park in St. Kitts. The TKR batted first and were restricted to 114 for 7 of their 20 overs. Player of the match, Leanne Kirby, top scored with 30. That included 3 fours and 2 sixes, while captain Deandra Doughton added 20. So too did Haley Jensen, who was unbeaten. Shakira Selman took 2 for 16, while skipper Haley Matthews bagged the 2 for 28. The Royals, needing 4 to win off the final delivery, ended on 113 for 7. Chloe Tryon, she top scored with 38, including 3 fours and 3 sixes. Kirby took 2 for 32, while Doughton, who bowled the final over, took 1 for 9. Let's look at the highlights. Meanwhile, in last night's opening match of the men's fixture, Jamaica Talawas defeated the champs St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots by 47 runs. Talawas batted first and made 183 for 2 of their 20 overs. The player of the match, Brandon King, slammed 89 with 8 fours and 6 sixes, while Keenar Lewis added 48, as those two put on 116 for the opening stand. The skipper, Rodman Powell, muscled 30 not out at the end of the innings of just 15 deliveries that included a 4 and 3 sixes. In reply, the Patriots only got up to 136 for 6 in their 20 overs. Shifting Rutherford got the top score there, 33 with 4 sixes. Nicholas Gordon took 3 for 32. Today in the men's competition, the St. Lucia Zooks, the St. Lucia Kings that is, they play against the Trinbago Knight Riders at 10 a.m. while the 7 p.m. fixture, it will be the Barbados Royals versus the Pats. In the women's competition at 3 p.m., it will be TKR versus Guyana Amazon Warriors. The action will be live on MCTV's Sports Match channels 310 and 311. Let's look at weather now. It's nice and cooler than usual on the outside. If you look at what is being read there as far as the temperature goes, 24.6 degrees Celsius, it is fair, but it's feeling like 30 degrees Celsius on the outside, so it is a bit warmer, or feeling a bit warmer, as the relative humidity stands at 85%. Barometric pressure is 1010 millibars, and those winds are coming from the northeast at 9 kilometers per hour. We'll see a low tide this afternoon at almost 12:30, and then we'll have a high tide coming your way at 6:55. Well, the seas are calm to smooth in open water, with swells ranging from 0.5 to 1 meter. Today will be mostly sunny at first, but then we'll get some cloud cover, breaks of sunshine as well, with some intermittent scattered moderate to heavy showers. There's also a slight chance of some isolated thunderstorm activity across some districts during the afternoon. And tonight things will clear up a bit, as we'll have a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. And that's it for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with headline news. Up next is Pearson with Mornin Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning.
Good morning to you everyone this September morning, September the 1st, 2022. I'm Pearson Boeing, welcoming all of you here, there and everywhere. Thank you for joining us on our streams on YouTube and on Facebook. Today is Thursday. That means today we'll share with you some exciting young people too. We'll also today be reminding you of the Ocean Acres Animal Sanctuary's appeal for some assistance. They're having a drive on. And what is that and how can you be a part? We'll tell you. We'll update you on what's been happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a friend to Morning Barbados. Tedra Kirby joins us to share with us what's the latest. We'll tell you about that. We'll meet this morning an island girl who is now a hair ambassador focusing on Europe. She's lived a life from primary school till now all about climate change. Why? And in what ways does her journey continue in that activism for climate change? We'll introduce you to her. We'll also today be meeting that young Barbadian woman who was a first competing at the Commonwealth Games as a female for Barbados in gymnastics. Erin will join us this morning. Too, this morning, Penny Explores Barbados. The author will join us to talk about the book and whether or not Penny exploring Barbados in any way matches or mirrors her own life. We'll talk to her about that. But let's get started this morning by looking at that fun camp they had for summer for the children, in particular those 4 to 16 years old, Edu Fun summer camp. Joining us to talk about it is the director, Kelly Arthur. Good morning to you, Kelly.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
It's good to see you. Now, when my summers were on in my days way back then, we just had a couple of weeks of vacation Bible school, and then we were all over the place having fun. And here it is now, you've had yourself to Edu Fun. It sounds as if it's a good combination of fun and education. Talk to me about the camp and what the camp did with those children.
Yes, most definitely, Pearson. You have it right. It's all about education, educating our youth, and of course having that fun element, because we can't forget the fun during the summer. Of course not. So over the last 7 weeks, we've been focusing on the theme, Our Voices Initiate Change. And as you rightly said, we would have catered to children between the ages of 5 and 16. And we really conceptualized this particular theme because we wanted our young people to know that their voice is important, you know, and when we talk about youth voice, we're referring to young people's perspective, their ideas, their experience, their knowledge, and of course their actions. So with all the problems that our young people are experiencing today, we thought it was necessary for them to understand that they can actually be part of the solution and not necessarily part of the problem. So that's what we focused on primarily this vacation for the last 7 weeks.
So how did you go about doing that so that the young children who are a part of the camp understood that they do, one, have a voice, and that that voice can be used for change? What kinds of activities did you engage with?
Yes, so the program offers an academic component, of course. And within the academic component, inclusive of English language, math, science, we also incorporated our environmental science because we spoke about climate change, we talked about pollution, we focused on food security, conflict resolution, mental health, abstinence and discrimination, and of course social media and music, and how all of those things affect them as young people and affect us as a whole. So we had tours, we would have had tours facilitated by the Barbados Agricultural Management Company. So we visited Wakefield Plantation in St. John. We also visited the Agronomy Research Department, the Barbados Coastal Zone Management Unit. We went on a tour with them as well to Little Bay and also to the Richard Haynes Boardwalk. So they learned a lot about climate change and how the increase in temperature of the sea basically is causing that change and is responsible for the sargassum seaweed. So we had lots of discussion as to how they can also play their role in, helping our climate and helping our environment, stop pollution, all those different things.
You had some partners coming into when you think music and what music can do to the soul, really, and how it can really change one's attitude and one's behavior. And you had some really outstanding producers and stuff coming through. Talk to me about what that did and how the children responded to that opportunity to engage through music.
Yes, that part of the program was really awesome, and we're really excited about what we were able to produce this year. Yes. For our creative arts in our music program, we had producer and musician and music educator, Mr. Randy Eastman, and we also had the opportunity to work with Israel Allen, who's a Barbadian British singer-songwriter, who was a contestant in The Voice a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So they were able to come in and engage with our young people. And they actually wrote a song, our level 3 campers. Wow. Those are the ones 12 to 14 years old. Yes, they wrote a song, and it's called Speak Up. And it's basically a call to action for young people to use their voices and speak up on issues that affect them. It basically rallies the young people for them to end violence and to embrace a more positive lifestyle. We also had the opportunity for Mikey Mercer to come through, and he listened to the song and he gave his input. He made a couple changes that took the song to a whole other level. So our young people had a ball during our music program. It was really awesome.
So are you considering recording that song since it's a good song?
Yes. Yes, we actually went to the studio yesterday. Uncle Randy Eastman, he took us to the studio and they were able to record, and we're putting together a music video. So Barbados, listen out, watch out for that. We're going to release that shortly. They had lots of fun. We're going to put the final touches to that music video today. So the kids are really excited. They learned a lot over the last 7 weeks. Even in terms, we had a discussion yesterday and we talked about all the things that, that they were able to take away from the program. Some of them talked about, encouraging their parents to have kitchen gardens. They talked about recycling. It really was a really awesome opportunity. And I think that we pretty much met our goal in trying to get them to see themselves as change agents in their communities, in their schools, and in Barbados as a whole.
This is now 5 years you've been doing this, running this Edu Fun summer camp. What is it that keeps you going?
I love young people. I'm a teacher by profession, so I'm surrounded by young people on a daily basis. My background is really in community development. I was a parish ambassador for St. Michael years ago. So community work is not something that is new to me, but I really am interested in youth development and helping our young people to become the best that they can be. So that's what drives me, and every year seeing how our young people develop. They come to us, some of them in some instances very shy, and by the time they leave, they're very open, they're able to speak and give their opinions about things, they develop new talents. So it's really awesome to really see them grow over the 7-week period.
Wow, these children had such a time of their life over those 7 weeks of summer. They went to the Jairus Brewster children's gallery at the museum. I saw that. I saw they went to the library service, had a reading session. Though there they are in my favorite part of the island, St. Lucie, looking through and having a good time, taking their tours in. This has truly been all-encompassing, and you know, being able to cater to children of varying age ranges no doubt comes with its own challenges, but it also comes with its own rewards.
Of course, of course. I really have an awesome team that helps to carry the program. As you said, you know, we have varying ages, those 5-year-olds, and we have a couple 4-year-olds too. Those 5-year-olds, you know, they can be a bit of a challenge. So having a really good team, Auntie Papa, Auntie Trina, Auntie Mackenzie, you know, they really worked hard with those young ones. And I have Auntie Kellyanne and Auntie Judah. So having a really strong team really makes a difference in making this program a success.
So tomorrow now is the big graduation day. I call it graduation day. Talk to me what's happening tomorrow.
Yes, so tomorrow is what we call our closing ceremony. And basically this is where our campers receive their certificates of participation, because again, as I said to you, it was a program, so to speak. So as you said, they're graduating. So they will be receiving their certificates of participation. They will be able to put on show some of the pieces that they put together. As I told you, they wrote a song. In some instances, they're dramatic pieces, they're poems. So they're able to perform those pieces for our guests and for their parents as well. We're also going to have our sponsors coming through. So we have the HIV/AIDS Commission, who has been partners. They've been partnering with us over the last 5 years. And I really want to thank Mr. Fabian Todd, the Public Relations Officer, Mr. Corey Lane, who is the parliamentary representative for the city of Bridgetown, because we're in River Road this year. So Corey really supported us this year and sponsored some campers from the neighborhood. So he's also going to be there. He's our guest speaker for the evening. And of course, we have our representatives from Equity Insurance. They're going to be there as well. So it's going to be a full production. We're going to be streaming it online, so parents will be able to see. Anybody who wants to log on, you can visit our YouTube channel, Edu Fun Summer Camp, and you'll be able to see all the fun things that we've been doing over the last 7 weeks.
On YouTube, it's Edu Fun Summer Camp. That's the big ceremony tomorrow. Now, this means that you cannot stop. It's 5 years. There's much more. I'm sure the planning will begin very soon for what happens in the 6th year. I'm looking forward to that. Now, please do keep us in your thoughts, because we'd love to see it when that video and that song is released, that we can be a part of releasing it to Barbados here on Morning Barbados. So do remember us in your days to come.
I will. I will.
Kelly Arthur, it's been good seeing you again. Congratulations on yet another successful Edu Fun Summer Camp, and only the very best going forward with your other iterations of it as well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Pearson.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Look at how summer has turned out. It was just vacation Bible school for me, and just playing around, playing cricket and everything else in the streets wherever we used to play in the pastures. But here it is now. Children have organized summer camps, and they've truly had a good time with Edu Fun Summer Camp. So, what else is on the show? We'll share with you right after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
12 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock. That book we're going to turn to now is a book called Penny Explores Barbados, which is quite an interactive adventure of a little girl who has found all of the hidden gems of a beautiful island known as Barbados. The author of the book is Emma Anius, and she joins us now as we talk a little bit more about it. Emma, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Emma, thank you so much for joining us. Penny Explores Barbados. I want to know, first of all, how much of her journey and her story mirrors your life story?
Well, when I was growing up, we did travel around a lot, and I love to like explore and get to know different places. So in that aspect, for sure. And also my grandmother, in the book, other stories from my grandmother, Nana Len, and my grandmother, Helen. She used to tell us all the stories about how she grew up in Barbados. So I guess in that way, it definitely mirrors kind of how I grew up, learning the stories from my grandmother and really just wanting to experience it for myself.
So when you wrote the book, did you ask her to just, Granny, could you just go through the book and make sure that I've told your story correctly? Did you do that at all?
So the difference is these aren't my grandmother's stories. These are about like different places in Barbados for people to experience their own version of it. So I definitely ran it by her. We definitely had conversations about it. But this book is completely original and just for people to read it and have their own experience of Barbados.
So tell me a little bit about what Penny discovered. I'm curious, and I don't reveal the whole book because we want people to get the book. But when Penny went in search of all that she wanted to discover, where did it take her and what did she find?
So she went to so many different places. She went to Animal Flower Cave, Harrison's Cave, Farley Hill. She also learned all about the monkeys, the green monkeys in Barbados. She went turtle watching, and she also went to like the beaches.
Penny is quite an adventurer indeed. It's said to be an interactive book. In what ways is it interactive? So what I love about the book is what I made sure is that you can kind of have it to keep your memories. So you can add your favorite pictures. There's sections in the book where you actually go to the locations and it says Penny took a picture, and there's a place for you to insert your own picture as well. So you can take it with you as you age, and you can go through the stories looking back what you've done with your family and just have these memories. And not just that, you can draw, like there was a section when Penny went to the Animal Flower Cave. She you know, the sea animals, we call them funny flowers in the book, where she sits down and she draws them, and there's also a section there for you to draw them as well with her. Wow, so in that way it is interactive indeed. Now,
yeah, for sure.
Getting the book Penny Explores the Animal Flower Cave is one segment of it, but Penny Explores Barbados. Putting this book together, how long did it take you, and when did you start to do this, and what inspired you to do it?
So it happened during the pandemic, actually. So about a couple years ago, when I started writing the book, I've always loved writing. I've wrote stories my entire life, and I really wanted to put a book out there that kind of represented, like for a little black girl with natural hair, seeing a black family doing things together with love, and I really just wanted to put that together for people to experience. But yeah, so I wrote it about 2 years ago. It took me maybe a couple of months to write, but then putting it together, like getting the illustrations from our amazing illustrator Tamina White, and then getting it published, putting everything together took me a little longer. So the whole process from start to finish, about 2 years, but that's because to find the illustrator and then to find a publisher at Passionate Words, it just took me a while to find all of that.
Now I'm curious, because is this your first published project, by the way?
Yes, it is.
You could have given up along the way. I mean, 3 years, you know, along the time, we say to ourselves, is it worth the effort? What kept you persistent in seeing this to the end?
I mean, I absolutely love the story behind it, and I thought it was something important to put out there, just with a family and just experiencing things together. And it was definitely worth going through and making sure I got it out there, just because of what it would bring to people, having their family going together and doing different things together and creating those memories.
So here it is, you've created now a book for children, I think. And what ages do you think this book will be most appropriate for?
So the book is definitely for like 5 to 12. I actually did a book reading at St. Gabriel's. They had a literacy camp over the summer, and they loved it. The age group that was 5 to 9, and they loved it. They asked so many questions. So yeah, it was definitely a successful book read.
This is wonderful. Imagination and fun, the key to successful learning. That's what you believe, and so do we as Penny Explores Barbados. So what's in the pipeline then coming down? You know, this is project number 1. Naturally, we want to hear where else Penny has been. So are you thinking of it in that way? You're doing more and more of the Penny story.
Yeah, for sure. So I've actually written one. It's called Penny is when she learns to cook. So she goes through different recipes, and that's also interactive because you can pick which recipes you want to do. But also, mostly what I want to do is for her to travel around the Caribbean. So next stop, if you read the book, you'll see where she's going to next. So that's definitely coming down the pipeline. Just island hopping, really. Just experiencing Caribbean and the Caribbean culture and learning about all the different islands.
Part of what we do here is we love to interact with people as well. So I'm hoping that Penny meets some friends. Penny tells a story of the friends. She lives her adventures through her friends that she meets as well. So you've been writing now for quite a little while, and what I'm seeing here is that you also have it in different formats. Yes.
So it's available on Amazon. You can get the hardback copy, or on the Kindle version. So you can get it on your phone, your tablet, your computer. You can also get the hardback copies here at Jelly Bean Kids Zone in Sheraton. We have also another location at the Animal Flower Cave, at La Cua Vita gift shop, and in Lime Grove at the We Love Barbados store in Lime Grove upstairs, and trying to get it everywhere pretty much, so it'll be accessible to everyone everywhere.
Was it always part of your life's dream to become a published author?
I mean, for sure. Like, I've been writing from time I was 5 years old, from a very young girl, like just writing, putting together different stories or poems. So for me to put it together, it's a dream.
It's a dream definitely coming true. You're living, imagine that you're living your dream. You're still quite young, and you get a chance to at least live a portion of that dream, with a bigger dream still to be unfolded and met. So, right, so Emma, you've written Penny Explores Barbados. Again, remind us where we can get copies of it so that our young children up to age 12 can get this interactive adventure through the eyes of Penny. They can explore Barbados themselves and fill in as they go and have those memories. Where can we get copies again?
So it's at Jelly Bean Kids Zone at Sheraton. We also have a copy at the La Cua Vita, the gift shop at the Animal Flower Cave, and in Lime Grove upstairs in the store called We Love Barbados. Also, I do island deliveries, so if you reach out to me from our Instagram page, Penny Explores Official, just contact me there and I can drop it off to you wherever you are on the whole island.
And so the other projects you're working on, how soon do we think we can see the next stage of Penny's adventures?
Oh man, so I'm currently writing the next island she's going to. Hopefully that'll be finished within a couple months, and then just getting the illustrations put together. So hopefully the first quarter of next year, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So where is she going next, out of curiosity? Which island is she tackling?
So she meets a friend on her last exploration when she does the turtle watching. She meets a friend that tells her all about the turtles, and that little girl is from St. Lucia. So that is where she'll be going to next.
All right, Helen of the West. So here we go. And this is wonderful because we don't just journey across Barbados and Penny, call it Helen, in Penny Exploring Barbados, but Penny also, through her journeys, take us to places as well. And that's why I keep reminding people what reading can do for you. Reading can help you to travel. And then when you actually physically travel, you can then realize a lot of what you would have read through the pages of the book as well. It's a brilliant effort. Yep, it's a brilliant effort indeed. Emma, thank you so much for joining us, and much success with the whole series of Penny Stories, I call them. Me. And thank you too for coming by. All right.
All right, take care. Bye, Barbados.
Bye-bye. Emma Anius is her name. She's the author of the book Penny Explores Barbados. She just shared with you how you can get a copy of it yourself. I encourage you to get it for your children so they can explore Barbados with Penny and have those memories as well as Penny would have shared. We're going to take a break here. We're coming back in just a moment with the news.
morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Still to come this morning, we'll meet Barbados outstanding gymnast Erin. She is back and she will share with us her experience at the recently concluded Commonwealth Games. Can't wait to talk to her about that. And she's still quite young and her journey is really one that's quite storied as well. We'd also today be meeting a young Hay ambassador whose focus is on Europe. From primary school, she's been so moved as an island girl by the changes she's seen in her island caused by climate change, and so she's encouraged many others to come along with her on the journey. She continues that journey. She will share with her story as well. We'll be catching up on what's the latest in St. Vincent and the Grenadines when Tedra Kirby, our communications girl, joins us in just a little while too. Well, let's get to an update now on the news, and for that, here's Shane Seeley.
Thank you, Pearson. Here's your 7 a.m. headline news for this Thursday, September 1st. No ease in gunplay as another deadly shooting was recorded here in Barbados. A woman was also injured in the incident which occurred at Kaiser Hill Drive, Endeavour Enterprise Christchurch. That happened around 9:30 p.m. On responding to the scene, police say a man's body was discovered in a bushy area near a residential property after a brief search. The female was found with several injuries and was transported by ambulance for medical treatment. She was described as being in serious but stable condition by ambulance personnel. Police say shortly after the two had arrived at home, a number of armed men appeared from a dark bushy area, attacked them and started shooting. Both victims ran away in an attempt to escape injury. The man was chased and shot a number of times. He died at the scene. The assailants fled, driving away the car, a gold Toyota Axio with the registration number SA3501 used by the couple. Police are appealing to the public for information on this incident. Anyone who has knowledge of the circumstances is asked to contact the Oystons Police Station at 418-2612. The police emergency number is 211, or you can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS. That's 1-800-8477, or the nearest police station. Investigations are ongoing. The criteria for discharge from COVID-19 isolation is changing from today. The Ministry of Health and Wellness states an individual will now be cleared for discharge on day 7 from a positive COVID-19 PCR test result. Originally, it was 10 days. In a statement, the ministry notes the individual must be asymptomatic or show improving symptoms for 3 days prior to discharge. If the individual remains symptomatic, isolation must be extended for a full 10-day period with no further testing required. Meanwhile, there were 147 new COVID-19 cases recorded from 614 tests conducted on Tuesday by laboratories across the island. The cases consisted of 19 people under the age of 18 and 128 who were 18 years and older. The number of people in isolation facilities was 83, while 1,379 people were in home isolation. An 83-year-old woman we are hearing died as a result of the virus on Tuesday. As a result, as at August 30th, there were 542 COVID-19 related deaths. Efforts will be made at the first ever Africa Trade and Investment Forum, Active 2022, which opens today in Barbados, to deepen the trade and investment linkages between Africa and the Caribbean. Over 1,500 delegates, including business leaders, development agencies, and prospective investors and buyers from 93 countries comprising 48 African countries, are registered for Active 2022. The forum is being held under the theme One People, One Destiny, Uniting and Reimagining Our Future. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Moore-Motley, along with the Chairman of CARICOM and other senior African and Caribbean officials, are to address the opening at the Lloyd Erskine Sanford Center. Active 2022 will also witness the launch of the African Caribbean Trade and Investment Report. The first scheduled flight to Barbados from Africa could come from Ghana. Word of this from Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Jens Sternhardt. He made the comment as the first Ethiopian Airlines flight landed at the Grantley Adams International Airport yesterday.
I think we're looking at West Africa. I think, as you know, the Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Motley, is focusing on Ghana. There have been visitation where the African delegation from Ghana came here, and versus also that delegation from Barbados visited Ghana. And there are other, obviously, countries as well that have been visited as well. So I think it's overall, but I think there's obviously a strong connection with Ghana.
And that's your headline news for this morning. I'm Shane Seeley. It's back over to you, Pearson.
Shane, thank you. We're 4 minutes after 7 now. We'll take a break here. We're coming back with even more on Morning Barbados in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Barbados, Erin Pinder.
Historic day for Barbados with Erin Pinder, first female gymnast representing Barbados at the Commonwealth Games. Said she was a little bit scared but just couldn't wait for it to happen. Well, a big moment for this athlete and her nation. Erin Pinder for Barbados, quite a tall gymnast, 171. Well, she's fully aware of the little bit of history she's creating here, and the crowd told over the PA that she is the first for Barbados in women's gym.
That's Erin Pinder. Wasn't she magnificent as she recently competed at the Commonwealth Games? She's with us today. Erin Pinder, good morning.
Good morning.
You look at that. What do you see?
Well, I just see something that I have been dreaming for a very long time, and it finally came through.
So have you pinched yourself and woken up from that dream yet?
Yeah, well, honestly, when I walked to the arena and I saw all those people, I was like, wow, this is crazy. That is a lot of people.
And then when you saw all of that and knowing all of that, how did it make you feel inside to know that the cameras are also on you?
Well, because I never really competed with like cameras like on my face. So it was kind of like just like overwhelming at first, because it was kind of like every little thing that I do, like everybody's always watching me. So it was like, you know, I just have to like, you know, just focus more on myself and not really like just look at all the cameras and everything like that, and, you know, just like concentrate and just still do everything that I have to do.
Are there words that you repeat to yourself so you stay calm? Is there a particular drill you go through so that you calm yourself down?
Honestly, I just try to go through like the routines in my head and like watch myself do the skills correctly, and just try to replicate that in my head. And I just try not to, I just try to zone out everybody and just focus on myself and just listen to my thoughts and just get through with whatever I have to do. Because I tend to like to be by myself when I start to compete. I don't really like to talk to so many people. Yeah,
I know I know exactly how you feel. I go quiet myself just before going quote unquote on stage. So here it is then. You're in an arena where there are multiple things going on at the same time, so there are lots of noise always around you, and you're expected to stay focused and just charge ahead with what you're set to do. That sometimes can be extremely daunting, but you said that you're the kind of girl who likes to zone in. And knowing that you are the first Barbadian female to do so, how much of that weighed heavily on your conscious as you were setting about?
Well, it was a little bit nerve-wracking at first because there was a lot of pressure. It felt like the whole island was focusing on me at like just like that particular time, and then it also felt like the whole arena was just watching me. But then after a while, I just started to feel a little bit more comfortable when I was competing throughout the competition. So at first, it was a bit, yeah, scary, but then after a while, I started to get a little bit more comfortable with myself.
Let me tell you, girl, for us, you were a winner by just walking onto the stage. Right away, we felt as though we had already won gold. It didn't matter whether or not you won because we were there and Erin was there representing us. So whatever you did, we were immensely proud indeed of you. And we are still. But you're still quite young. How long have you now been doing gymnastics?
I've been doing it for 13 years.
And you're how old again? 16?
17.
For 30 years. So from 4 years old, you have been hopping, jumping, skipping, swinging, doing all of these things. Didn't it at all scare you?
At first, it used to scare me. Like learning new skills used to scare me. But when you continue to do them, you get a little bit more comfortable doing it. So then the fear just goes away. And I also try not to let fear continue with learning skills because I know that the sport is kind of challenging, and I know that not all the skills are gonna come easy, and I know that they're not all gonna be. I'm not always gonna be, fearless. So I have to just try and let the fear go aside. And once the coaches put their trust in me that they think I can do the skill, then I have to put my trust in myself that I can do the skill as well. So I just try to just go for the skills.
Yeah, for me, I would also have to put my trust that the mat will be there when I land. And the mat is soft enough as well. Yeah. Because sometimes you can hit really hard. But nonetheless, you were able to persist. But you are not a stranger to competition because even prior to the Commonwealth Games, you were already in competition and winning at certain levels as well. So talk to me about that leading up to the Commonwealth Games, the competitions you were in, where did you go to compete and the like?
Well, I usually compete 4 times a year. I compete in the Magical Classic, the Presidential Classic, which is in Orlando. I also compete in North Carolina and in Trinidad. I used to compete in Trinidad, but I didn't compete in Trinidad in a while. I also competed in St. Vincent, so probably about 6 times a year, because I also competed in Barbados as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely no stranger to competition. Who worked with you so that you are always on point for competitions leading up to the Commonwealth Games? Who would have worked with you, your coaches and the like?
Well, I was training in the UK for about 2 months before I went to the Commonwealth Games. So I was training with the British coach, Michelle, and I was also training with my local coach here, Alison, and Delani.
So when you met with the British coach, what did she say about your technique, your skill sets at that point?
Well, honestly, she was just surprised that I was doing like the amount of skills that I was doing coming from like the gym that we, train at, and not really for other facilities. But she was very impressed with the skills that I was doing and the techniques that I had. And even though I'm not perfect, so some of the techniques I still needed a little bit of work on. So she did try and help me with so I could like get better at it.
So now you've had that exposure, what do you think you'd want to do next? Is the bug biting you to say, you know what, I'm going there. I need to improve my skill sets. I want to be there. What's going on? What's your plan?
I have to talk to my coaches because I'm not sure, but I definitely do want to compete more.
Wow, this is amazing. Only 17 years old. And I mean, you're living a good portion of this dream already. So, Erin, when you got off, when your routines were completed and you're all done and you could take a deep breath and relax just a little bit, talk to me about the weight of letting that go when you know you're all done. How did that feel?
It just felt good. It just felt like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders because I feel like I was focusing on the competition for so long. And I just feel like I was always like stressing about it for so long and always just focusing on it for like a very long period of time. So then when I finally completed like the last event, which was vault, and I presented to the judges, I was like, it's finally over. Like I just felt so free. I loved it.
I can imagine. And at that point, who was the first person you wanted to just go either hug, to call, to talk to see? Who did you want to relieve your stress with?
I wanted to go to my mom because I wanted to go to my family because they were there because I haven't seen them in forever because I was away this whole time training. So I wanted to go to my family.
So talk to me about what that meant when you did connect with them physically. And what did they say to you? Talk to me how magical that moment must have been.
Well, they were really proud of me. The first thing they said was they all hugged me and they're all like, "We're really proud of you. You made us all so proud." And my mom especially, like she was just really happy. And my dad, because he was back home, he was like cheering me on. He was also messaging me and calling me and saying, "I'm so proud of you," and calling me champ. And I loved it. It was a magical moment.
For all of us, it was truly a magical moment. But you also had a chance to be interviewed by the press. Ooh, what a moment.
Yes.
So how was that? What did they say to you? What did you think when you were thrust in front of cameras and stuff to have an interview?
Well, I mean, I've been interviewed before, so I wasn't really as nervous as I would have been, like usually, but I was still nervous because it was kind of like one of those bigger, news networks and stuff. So I was very nervous as well, but I was no stranger to interview, so I knew exactly like whenever she would ask me a question, I'll be able to answer to the best of my abilities. So
as I watched that interview that we're seeing right there, and if we could just play just a little bit, because I want to ask you a question in a moment. All right. Well, sometimes when you're having an interview, you can be so caught up in your emotions, you don't sometimes hear the question. And you find yourself answering in some very plastic kind of ways. You know what I mean? How did you stay calm enough to hear what she was asking you so that you could answer appropriately?
I just had to focus everything onto her and not focus about what was going on because it was the opening ceremony, so there was a lot of noise and everybody was there cheering and chanting and just walking, so it was a little bit distracting, but I was trying to just like focus everything on her so I could hear everything that she was saying so that I would not miss any question.
How did you qualify to participate in the Commonwealth Games?
I did a meet in Brazil. So I had to do a meet before I went to the Commonwealth Games.
Wow. And there you are now. You are a Commonwealth athlete. And talk to me about, being there in the athletes' village to be among all of these world-class performers on different stages indeed, and the friends you would have met. How was that for you?
Oh, it was lovely. Like everyone in the village was so nice. The volunteers, they were amazing. Everybody, like all the athletes, they were so nice. I made a lot of friends. I just connected with a lot of people from different sports, not only gymnastics, but from like track and hockey and cycling and stuff like that. So I think I really made like connections with a bunch of people because I'm just very friendly as well as myself. So, it wasn't very hard making a lot of friends.
This is fantastic. Do you ever get the feel, do you feel alone in the sense that, it's you here in Barbados? Are there any others around you wish you could take along with you who could have the same kind of experience from Barbados?
Well, since I am the only gymnast, like from my level, it's kind of hard because everybody else is kind of lower in the levels. So it's kind of hard to like bring people who are close to me to do like these type of competitions because it will kind of not be like the same level kind of thing. But I would love to have a team to compete with. Like I always wanted to compete with like an actual team and not by myself, because usually whenever I do compete, I'm always competing by myself. So I just wish I would have like a team member that can motivate me and I can motivate them so that we can do better in like the competitions.
We have some people on social media or Facebook page commenting about you, girl. They say, keep on going, you're a Bajan girl. I always wanted to become a gymnast. Congratulations to you, Erin, on being first for Barbados. We're very proud of you. They're talking about you. We're proud of you. Another one says you did Barbados proud. And so they're pouring in their heart. I just want you to know that that's exactly how we felt. Rhonda is saying, congratulations, you made me so proud. I got goosebumps watching you. And knowing that Barbadians feel the way they feel about you and the way we congratulated you, how do you now feel about yourself and about Barbadians?
Well, about myself, I feel really good because I feel like now the whole of Barbados is behind me, because at first, Barbadians didn't really know that much about gymnastics. Like whenever I would be walking around and people would be like, "You look like an athlete. What do you do?" I'd be like, "Gymnastics," and they'd be like, "I didn't know we had gymnastics." So, but now about Barbadians, I just feel like they're just so, they like to help with they like to, what's the word? They just like to be behind their athletes. They just like to, just
They're very
represent them, and they just like to congratulate them. They're very supportive. Thank you. That's the word. They're very supportive of their athletes. They were very supportive of me, and not only me, but all the other Barbadians who competed in the Commonwealth Games.
We are hugely proud of you. Now, just above your head, there's a particular quote by Gabby Douglas. What does that quote say, and what is it? Why is it there?
It says, "Hard days are the best because that's when champions are made," and it's basically just like reminds me that you're not always gonna have like good days when you're training, so don't like get frustrated. Like if you're not just like have a good day, it just means that you have to just push harder the next time, and it just means that you're not perfect, and that you're still gonna achieve great things whether you have good days like all the time or bad days sometimes.
Erin, are you still in school?
Yes, I am. I have one more year.
Are you looking forward to going back to school, having had a summer of your life?
Really and truly, I just want to see my friends at school, to be honest. I mean, I've seen them throughout the course of summer, but at school, it's kind of like a different thing when you kind of see your friends, But I'm kind of not really looking forward to the work, but definitely socializing with like the people that at school. So
I just love it that but with all the success you've met, you're still as humble as ever. I just want to be with my friends, and that is so honest and so fair. Erin, we are immensely proud of you as Barbadians, and I'm sure Caribbean people as well, because we felt as though you were also representing the Caribbean, and so we will track your journey, Erin. We want to wish you only the very best with wherever next your feet put you and land for you as well. So I really wish you the very best going forward. Thank you for representing Barbados so beautifully, and we are so immensely proud of you. Have a great morning. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
You're welcome indeed. Isn't she sweet? Erin Pinder, our Commonwealth gymnast. She represented Barbados in the Caribbean handsomely, and so we're immensely proud of her. We can't wait for her next feat, her next performance as well. So let's keep tracking her and continue to give her your fullest support. We're going to take a break right here. We're coming back in just a moment. It's 22 minutes now after the hour of 7 o'clock as we turn our attention to another exceptional young person, this time one of the Hay ambassadors with a focus on Europe. Her name is Marley Smith. We call her an island girl. Marley, good morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Now, what island did you grow up on?
So I grew up on Grand Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
In the Cayman Islands. And here it is. From a very young girl in primary school, you were moved by what was happening to the beaches, the environment around you. What was happening and why were you so moved?
Well, I went to a very small Montessori primary school, where it was directly on the beach. So every day for recess or lunchtime, we would go out on the beach and play on the beach. But as I was growing up, I could see that there was a lot more trash, a lot more plastic waste on the beach. And I knew that I couldn't just stand there and watch my beautiful island get destroyed.
Yeah.
So I thought that I would start a small activist group in my school and try and make a difference.
You know, you could have said, you know, that's for the big people to do. I'm just a little girl. I'm not getting caught up in that kind of thing. So there are people who were responsible for clearing the beaches. But you thought, no, 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 no. Even as young as you were at the time, I'll get my friends to come with me to do so. And how difficult was it for you to inspire them to join you in these kinds of efforts?
I mean, a lot of my friends are a lot like me and want the best for the environment, so it was kind of a given that they would back me and kind of help me out in joining that activist group. And I think it's important that the youth get involved because, as we know, the older generations haven't really done anything these past 50 or so years to stop climate change from happening. So it's really the young generations and the young people that have to take a stand and kind of save our future.
So here it is. It started with beach cleanups, but then we saw other forms of climate change where now that beach you used to walk on is no longer the beach you used to walk on. So talk to me about the changes you've seen over time affecting your island, the Cayman Islands.
Right, so in Cayman we have a beautiful beach that's famously known as 7 Mile Beach. And as a kid I used to walk up and down it all the time, but now I can't get from one side of the beach to the other side of the beach without swimming. So seeing that has been really shocking because that's obviously sea level rise and it's happening very quickly, like only within my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And in Cayman we also have a lot of overdevelopment, so we're not seeing a lot of green areas anymore. It's all high rises and big new buildings and all of that, which isn't good for the environment. On top of that, we've got a lot of tourism. Some may say over-tourism. It's good for the economy, but on the other hand, tourists don't really know how to protect our environment and kind of be environmentally conscious. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've seen that all while I was growing up.
So now knowing what you know, what are some of the things you do to help raise further awareness so that the decision makers, the people who can literally do something, hear your voice and actually want to do something?
Yeah, so recently, 2 years ago I think, during the pandemic, me and a couple other of my peers, we decided to start a tree planting project here in Cayman because we saw across the Caribbean people were doing this tree planting project and trying to plant as many trees as they can to suppress some of that carbon emissions. Mm-hmm. So me and a couple of my friends started that, and we ended up getting the attention of our government, and we had meetings with them to try and collaborate. It didn't end up going anywhere because our government's not the best, but you know, we keep trying and we keep trying to get that. Just that engagement is really important, to know that the government is listening and trying to do something to save our island.
I know you're not going to give up, but you as a Hay ambassador have a focus on Europe. And how is it from the Cayman Islands, and Europe is all the way over there? How do you do that? How do you successfully have your say on what's happening in Europe?
So I'm actually starting university in London next year, so that's why I'm kind of Europe-based. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a little bit harder to get people involved in Europe, as I'm very fortunate to have lived on an island, so I can see it firsthand, and I know what's like at stake, and I know what we're trying to protect, whereas people, you know, who are kind of landlocked, can't see the ocean, can't see the sea levels rising, or kind of in more cities, they don't really see that beautiful nature and the beautiful environment that we're trying to protect. So I found that it's a bit more difficult to get people engaged and wanting to help the environment, but, you know, it's a process, and I'm trying to get there.
What frustrates you about the pace of change that you'd like to see? What's really frustrating about it?
It's slow. It's very slow to try and get people involved. And, you know, you really have to be persistent in trying to get people with more power, like policymakers, involved, as, you know, the environmental protection really isn't on their radar. It's all about the economy, getting as much money as you can. So it's very difficult to get people to have the protection of the environment as a top priority.
So if today, by the snap of a finger, you are placed in the position to effect the change that you want to see, what are some of the things that you would immediately seek to implement?
I would immediately seek to implement like a plastic ban, no more production of plastic except in like a medical sense for sure, and just kind of make it more like big oil companies and all of that have to, adhere to certain environmental standards and emission standards. And I would definitely implement laws that would make most big companies carbon neutral. So whatever carbon emissions they're emitting, they would have to suppress that same amount of, or sequester that same amount of carbon by planting trees or doing something else to help the environment. Yeah, for sure.
What do you think as the individual, at the individual level, we can all seek to do so that we play our part in slowing down this change in climate that we are seeing?
Right. I'm glad you asked that because a lot of people say, what am I supposed to do as just like a person? I can't change the policies or anything like that. Me just recycling or doing something small isn't going to make a difference. But like everyone says, like if everyone does their own little part, then together as a whole, we're making a big difference, So even doing like little recycling, beach cleanups, all of that, you're saving like a turtle, for example, by picking up a straw that would have been eaten,
Yeah.
or doing something like that. And by being environmentally conscious as an individual, you're promoting the policymakers to kind of listen to you because policymakers and people in government want to listen to their people. So, yeah.
Are you inspired by any form of change that you're actually noticing at the ground level? Is there anything that you're seeing, you're thinking, that's beautiful to see, they're actually getting the message?
Yeah, for sure. So here in Cayman, the government has definitely started to listen a lot more to the youth, and they've started to involve, young people in their decision-making process, which is great. And we've got a local environmentalist group called Protect Our Future, and they've been really engaged with that group. And it's great to see like young people's voices being heard by the government and all of that. So it's really nice to see that change. And on more of a global level, watching any sort of conferences, such as like COP26, is really useful to see that, people are thinking about it. People are trying to make great intersectional changes in our way of protecting the environment. So yeah, that's great.
That's fantastic. Now, as a Hay ambassador, obviously you're part of the broader Hay campaign, and there's so many of you young people from all over the world. Do you get opportunities to trade stories, to trade successes, to be inspired as well? Is there a forum where you actually come together to do so?
Yeah, that's one of the my favorite things about the Hay campaign is to get involved with young environmentalists throughout the world, which is incredible because you don't usually get that opportunity to speak with people outside of your region. So yeah, I'm a regional vocal point, so I'm in close contact with all the other regional vocal points for Africa, for North America, for all of that. So it's incredible to see what they're doing in their respective regions, and it's just great to collaborate with them.
Yeah. You say you're traveling to the UK next year to do some studying in London. Just out of curiosity, what are you heading there to study?
I'm studying neuroscience.
Naturally. Naturally. Indeed. What do you do for fun, Marley?
What do I do for fun? Well, I live on a beautiful island, so the beach most of the time. But I would say I'm a hard worker, so I don't have a lot of time to do what I like. But yeah.
A true island girl indeed. Marley Smith is her name. She's from the Cayman Islands. She's the Hay ambassador with a focus on Europe, and very soon she's going to help change the world. We can all do so by doing it bit by bit, one by one. And so, Marley, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have identified you as one of our exceptional young people from the region, and it's a pleasure being able to interact with you here on Morning Barbados. Have a good day and best going forward.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're very welcome indeed. Her name is Marley Smith from the Cayman Islands. So taking a break, and we're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
25 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. Time for us to help you unscramble some letters. Come on, help me too. But you have to call me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. It's one of those moments I know you look forward to every morning, right? So we have some words all scrambled up, and your job now is to unscramble the letters. Look at that. Look at... I almost called the word out because immediately I saw the answer. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me now. Tell me when you set these letters in order the word you see. Your job is to do that, to talk to me. And remember, you can call me from anywhere. It doesn't matter. And when you call, you give your word. I'd like you to also give it in a sentence. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me now and tell me when you unscramble these letters, the word that you see. Tell me now. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning. A pleasant morning to you, Pearson. How are you?
Oh, to you too. Thank you so much. I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad.
Oh, that's good to hear. Then you're doing well, right?
Trying to in these times.
So what's making it so difficult for you to be as best you can possibly be?
You're so inspiring.
Pardon me?
Just trying to, live every day as it comes.
That's right. Live it moment by moment, but always be thankful for what you have. Always
thank God every
be
day.
thankful. Absolutely. Don't ever stop doing that. That's right. Okay, there you go. So here we go. What word do you see?
This word here is a very funny word. I never get to use one. A gutter perk.
You never used one?
No.
Really? Use the word in a sentence for me.
Come on, get this gutter perk. I let these birds up the tree. That's what a little boy.
I thought you never used one.
No, I guys use them, but big men they still use them.
Yes, they do. What's your first name and where are you watching from?
Sonia, because Black Rock.
Sonia from Deacons in Black Rock. Sonia, thank you so very much. You're absolutely right. It is indeed gutter perk. You can see it. It's right there. Greek gutter. It's outside gutter perk. Thank you, Sonia. We can give one more. Let's do another one. 228-5562 or 228-5. Aren't those two words already? Aren't those already two words? Tops coffee. But they're scrambled. You better believe it. So here we go. So unscramble those words, those letters, and tell me the two words that you see. Easy, easy, easy. So 228-5562 or 228-5563. We have two words. They look like normal words on your screen, but you better believe it, those letters are all scrambled. Your job is to unscramble them, and your other job is to call me when you think you have, and you let me know the words you see. Of course, you'll use them in a sentence. 228-5562 or 228-5563. We've had Deacons, St. Michael already winning. I'm not winning, but correctly identifying a word. Can we get someone coming in today from St. Peter? Haven't heard from you in a while. What about you, St. Andrew and St. Joseph? Haven't heard from you in a while either. So 228-5562 or 228-5563. Sort out those letters and let me know what you get, eh? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Two words on your screen. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
Good.
Wonderful. What's your first name and what parish are you watching from?
My name is Kevin. I'm from St. George.
Kevin of St. George. All right, Kev, what words do you see on your screen?
I see top coffee.
You see tops coffee.
Yeah.
As do I. But those letters are actually scrambled. If you were to unscramble those letters, what other words do you see?
I see C-O-F-F-I-E.
That's it, Kev?
Yeah.
That's not what I'm looking for, though. All right?
All right.
Thank you, my brother. Have a good day. Have a good day indeed, Kevin, watching from St. George. No. I tell you, these look like two ordinary words and you will be right. But those words, those letters that you see on your screen are actually scrambled. And your job is to unscramble them and tell me the other words you see once you've done so. Good morning. Hello.
Morning, Pearson, again, my darling.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. So tell me now what words.
Northumberland.
I know it's you thing. So what words do you see?
Coffee pot.
You see what?
Coffee pot.
Deborah. Deborah.
Yeah.
You see the first TOPS? That's the first word. And the COFFIE, that's the second word.
Stop.
So the first one is you see tops, what?
STOP, stop.
Stop. And next word?
And coffee.
Deborah Gallo, you wrong. Deborah Gallo, no, stop. Don't let me do this to you no more. Deborah, nope. Don't take it literal. Do not take it literal. These are actual words. The letters have been scrambled. So don't call it for me the way you see it. Don't take it literally. No, folks. These are two words. The letters have been jumbled up. Let's see. Pardon me? Let's see if we can get it now. 228-5562 or 63. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I am fine, and you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you for asking. What's your first name and what parish are you watching from?
My first name is Natasha. I'm watching from St. Joseph.
All right, Natasha from St. Joseph. Natasha, you have the best view. That means that you can tell me exactly these two words. What words do you see?
Post office.
Natasha.
Hi.
I said you have the best view. What words do you see?
I am seeing post office.
I'm seeing Tops Coffee.
No, I am unscrambling the word.
And I am unscrambling them too. You're absolutely right, Natasha. Post office is correct. Now, Natasha,
yes.
This should be really easy for you to do. As I always say, use the words in a sentence. What's your sentence?
Pardon me?
Use the words in a sentence. You've unscrambled it to be post office. Now use it in a sentence. Let me hear what you come up with.
I will go to the post office this morning.
Natasha, that's easy.
A mail.
That's so easy. Not you, because you actually use email, but that's all right, Natasha. Thank you so much. You're absolutely right. And thank you all as well for participating in our fun this morning. We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, we're catching up on SVG. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
15 and a half minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. You know, out of everything, whatever it is, something good always comes. It was because of the eruption of the volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we got to meet a new friend. Her name is Tedra Kirby. She's a communication strategist from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good to catch up with you again, Tedra. Good morning.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you? Morning, Bart.
Well, look at here. Look at here. I love it. I love it. So here we are. Tedra, the last time we met, you know, it was under those circumstances where, you know, we were making appeals for people for help. We were talking up a lot about how Vincentians are coping with the situation there. What's the change almost a year later? What have you seen?
Well, a year later, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is still on that recovery journey. We're still getting assistance from international agencies to help with the rebuilding efforts. We have successfully relocated people from some of the communities that were badly affected by the eruption. We've rolled out several programs as well assistance programs for farmers and other people who would have been severely affected. But it's a long journey, Pearson. And a year after, we still have very far to go.
That side of the island has now been quote unquote abandoned. What are the plans for that area? Do you know?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily abandoned. We do have people still in those communities, and that's understandable. Believe it or not, it's hard for people to just walk away from what they know, where they've lived their entire lives, their family, their history, and completely move. I do know, however, that there are plans to put certain structural advancements in those areas so that evacuation and so forth the next time around, God forbid, we really don't want a next experience, but these emergencies or these natural disasters don't affect us as badly.
Yeah. I mean, you've had a couple things to balance all at one time. You've had the COVID-19 pandemic, the eruption and the like, and that all of that would have played into it, have an impact on education. Now results are probably back. What kinds of results have been revealed as a consequence of the changes brought onto education by these circumstances?
Well, you know what? We're actually still awaiting CXC, CSEC, and CAPE results. We haven't gotten them yet. We were told that they would be announced on Monday, I believe, or tomorrow. It may very well be. But in the next few days, I know the Minister of Education, Honorable Curtis King, just recently in an announcement said he's anticipating these results, and I think we all are, because education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was so badly affected because everything happened at once for us. The volcano, like you said, COVID, we were already struggling with a dengue outbreak that changed even how our kids went to school, having them gone from their light uniforms to long jeans to protect their legs and so forth. So it's going to be an interesting result, period. But I think what it will certainly do is let St. Vincent and the Grenadines know exactly what our areas for improvement need to be when these results come out. I know in anticipation of the new school year, lower grades have had summer programs just to try and get students back on track, because we already see that their education and their understanding was severely affected during this time.
Managing the COVID-19 pandemic, I mean, we still here have numbers that we have to cope with day in, day out, and just trying to keep people safe and healthy through everything. I'm sure you're also battling that. What is the Ministry of Health there saying about, you know, how COVID has impacted people and what they still require people to do? Have you dropped any mandates at all for movement of people?
In terms of dropping mandates or having updates, I know as of last week, I believe, unvaccinated travelers coming into St. Vincent and the Grenadines no longer need to quarantine. And that's something that we held on to for a very long time, where they needed to quarantine in an approved accommodation. That's no longer required, so travelers can come more freely into St. Vincent and the Grenadines as of this month, August. In terms of mandates as well, we know one of the biggest announcements out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines would have been made by the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Gonsalves, in that teachers can now be reinstated, unvaccinated teachers. As a matter of fact, let me choose my words carefully, not reinstated. Unvaccinated teachers can now reapply for their previous teaching positions. One of the severe protocols that we had allowed for government workers, several categories, to be categorized as frontline workers, where getting a COVID-19 vaccine was mandatory for employment within the government service for many, many sectors. including police officers, teachers, healthcare workers, many of us. And that has now been dropped. Teachers are now being encouraged by the government to reapply for their positions. And going into the new school year, that is going to be something interesting to watch, because we've heard conflicting numbers from different people within the government in relation to how many teachers have actually reapplied. On one side, we've heard that over the last couple of weeks, 55 teachers reapplied, and we've also heard from another government source that it was just about 10. What I can tell you though is that the unions are encouraging teachers not to reapply on the basis that they believe that the passing of the mandate was illegal and teachers should not have been, I don't want to say forced, but should not have had to be in a situation where they were let go essentially from their duties. But that is posing a serious problem in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because what we find now is that there are certain subject areas that are suffering because we don't have people to fill these areas just yet. The Prime Minister did mention deadline.
Time is against us. Man, we have to do a good catch-up. So I know you're leaving the island today. So when you get back there, we'll be connecting with you once again so we can get even more news coming out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But thank you. So good to see you again. Safe flight. And good to see you guys. Let's connect again soon.
We will, and you know your Vinci updates can be quite long-winded depending on the topic. But thank you guys so much to the CBC team, and it was so great.
You see this? Look at this picture. When you came to see me in the radio studio the other day. But that's all right. It's good to see you indeed, Tetra. Thank you so very much indeed for talking to us again. Good having you. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye. Those pictures are from Tuesday, while on 94.7 FM, Tedra came upstairs to see me. All right, we're going to take a break right here. We're coming back with more on Morning Barbados in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Ocean Acres Animal Sanctuary is having a big food drive on the weekend. I know you're wondering, well, food drive, but for who? Maybe it's for what? And so joining us to talk a little bit more about what Animal Acres Animal Sanctuary is going to be doing, Ocean Acres Animal Sanctuary, is the CEO and founder Karen Whitaker. Karen, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good. What's happening on Saturday? Let's tell everyone what's happening.
Okay, well on Saturday we're going to be outside Costulas at Welch's, and we will have a couple of our dogs there and some of our lovely volunteers, and we would like everybody to come along and meet us. It's an opportunity to talk to us, find out what we do, find out if there's anything that you'd like to do to help, or if you're interested in adopting or fostering a dog, and also, if possible, while you do your shopping at Costulas, you could maybe buy a couple of items for us. Doesn't have to be anything much, but it would go a long way to help us feed the huge amount of dogs and cats that we have. At the moment, we have nearly 200 dogs and 250 cats.
So it costs to be able to do so. You have them in the sanctuary, but there are other opportunities for other people to do, to really chip in and help. It's an urgent need. How really desperate is this need? Can you paint that picture for us?
Yeah, it is really desperate, actually. It seems to have got worse and worse. I mean, since COVID, it was bad, but day in, day out, there's dogs that need help, dogs that are found, either abandoned or they've escaped or whatever's happened, but they're in a terrible situation, really skinny, like the pictures you can see, and nobody wants them. There doesn't seem to be enough homes in Barbados. Nobody wants to adopt them. If there's anybody out there that can foster or adopt, please get in touch with us, because we are so full. We're in the position now where we just can't take any more dogs, and that's really sad, because when people call up and need help or people find dogs, we haven't got anywhere to put them, and it's awful. It's hard for us to turn dogs away. There's no solutions. There's no answer for people. I don't know what to tell them anymore.
So here it is on Saturday then. We're encouraging everyone to come to Costelless car park area from 9 in the morning, and when you can, just purchase some items to help feed the dogs and the cats that you have housed at the Ocean Acres Animal Sanctuary. Or you can make monetary donations as well. So your volunteers will be there. Where exactly in that complex will you be, so that we don't miss you?
I don't think you'll be able to miss us. I'm going later to find out exactly where we're going to be, but I think we'll be just at the front where you go in. And we'll have some little small just shopping lists printed out, just little simple things with the lists of things, you know. It's anything really, from dog and cat food to cleaning supplies, detergents, bleach, anything, just small things like that. It costs us a lot, you know, to keep the place clean and sanitized and safe.
Yeah, and I'm saying that I'm glad you raised it in that way, because oftentimes we think of people and we understand what it takes to be able to do shelter and take care of people. The same thing for dogs and pets. They also need the same kind of attention. And so basically the same basic kind of routine that we would follow for the human, we should also follow for the dogs and the pets that you take care of. Food, sanitation and the like. And so because it takes a lot to be able to take care of you, and you're already bursting at the seams, it now requires all of us to be able to chip in and help. And so on Saturday when we come over to Costelless, we can come, and while we're there, get the shopping list, and as you shop, remember to make your donations at the end of it all, and also you can make your monetary donations. If while there as well, we want to be able to help you, because you will need people, so volunteers are welcomed.
They absolutely are, and you don't have to be a volunteer. You know, there's many ways that you can volunteer. Of course you can come and help with the dogs and cats, but you might want to help with fundraising, you might want to help at events such as we're having on Saturday, or you might have some good fundraising ideas, or you might be good at admin, because we have a lot of administration to do. There's many areas, you know. You could help with the children, we have youth groups and things like that. So there's so many activities that we need help with. We do a lot of community outreach, we need transport. There's many things that people could help us with if they have a little bit of spare time.
Saturday, folks, is ongoing work, and so if people watching today want to add to that and they want to be a part of it, but they can't come on Saturday, how can they contact you so that they are sure that they can make contact with you?
They can go to our website. All of the information is on our website, so that's www.oceanacresanimalsanctuary.org, and they can contact us by phone. The phone number is 262-4505.
Or you can go to oceanacresanimalsanctuary.org. It's right there on your screen, folks, the contact information, or send an email to info@oceanacresanimalsanctuary.org, or telephone or WhatsApp 262-4505, and you can find them on social media, Ocean Acres Animal Sanctuary. Karen, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that many people do lend their support through this big food drive you're having for the pets and animals on Saturday at Costelless from 9 in the morning. Food and monetary donations will be accepted. It's for the care of our dogs and cats at the Ocean Acres Animal Sanctuary. There will also be an opportunity a little later on for you to engage in so many other activities. But give, lend your support, physical or otherwise, to the cause and the call as well. Karen Whitaker, CEO and founder of Ocean Acres Animal Sanctuary, thank you very much for joining us, and much success with this effort on the weekend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So in all those thanks, I say thank you to you as well. This is where we have to end it for the day. My producer has been Nadia Foster. Technical director has been Ruel Ford. Sound engineer has been Christopher Blenman. And at Master Control, Tamisha Green. I'm Pearson Boyne for all of them, to each of you. Have yourselves a great day. We look forward to see you again tomorrow, Friday. Take care and bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.